we've got her up and rolling. We're starting a little bit early again. Sam's here. If you're watching this live, be sure to log in. Let us know you're here. If you're watching the rerun of this, that's good too.
It is. Yep. As long as you're here.
So we're getting set up. We've got about 8 minutes. If you're listening to this right now, we've got some time before we're gonna get rolling. So just kind of hang in there. We're getting everything finished, getting set up here, and we'll be ready to roll here shortly. Yeah, there we are.
There we go.
Hey. That's an old one there. There we are. All right, Caitlin's here.
First one here.
Type in there.
Hey, what's happening?
Here we go.
All right, if anybody else is here, be sure to log in. Let us know you're here.
This is one of those good nights that nobody, the kids don't have to walk down.
Oh yeah.
It's a another cold one tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same as last time.
Yeah, it was cold.
Last time might have been colder actually.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
It was so cold last time. Caitlin, how's the sound? Can you hear us pretty well? We don't have our standard video guy Nick here tonight, so we're flying solo. Let us know if the sound is good out there, and if once you get here, be sure to pop a comment in there so that we know you're here.
Seems like we should have music or something.
I know.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Yeah, here,
Caitlin.
write 3 words in your next comment. Kate. Come on now.
Tyler, get in here and show everybody your new fancy
Yes,
hat that
let's
you
see
got
this.
on the
Ooh,
PGA
yeah.
show. For those of you here, oh, Maya's here.
There we go.
So we just got back from the PGA show down in Orlando that we go to every year. And my goal every year at the show, no joke, Travis Matthews always gives away hats. They always give them away, but if you get there too late in the year or in the show, you won't get any. They go out like right away. So I get to the show this year and I said, hey, this makes my whole year. I love getting these hats. And they actually gave me both colors. So I have this in black and in white. Sam, did you get one?
I did. I actually gave mine away to another team member. So
Here we go.
we couldn't be wearing the same hat.
This guy.
That's really why.
That's probably
Even though we matched some other stuff.
that's true. We could have wore the white ones with our favorite colored shirt, our Slam and Salmon shirt.
Salmon? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could have done that.
Navy blue shorts.
Oh, man. That's kind of our go-to outfit, you know.
Popping.
That's good. B, what's up, buddy?
All right, Bennett.
What's happening?
Bennett, did you go hunting the last couple of weeks, or are you done? You put the shotgun away? I know you said you were gonna go hunting. Austin's here.
There we go.
All right.
Matthew, Micah, what's happening?
Type in here.
Good. Gonna get started in just a couple minutes here. About 3 minutes. So hang tight, get your popcorn.
No season over. Fill my tags. Okay.
All right. Since we're waiting, I'm just gonna show everybody this quick.
New season is over.
So if you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay, you need to do that. But if you ring the bell, after you subscribe and you ring the bell, you're going to get this kind of notification on your phone every time that we go live or your device, so that you don't even have to sit and refresh YouTube all the time. And it'll automatically just show up and you can click on it and join in on the live so you know when it happens. You also won't miss any of the events that way. Just a quick heads up for everybody.
Is that why you got the coolest hat at the show? Because you know
Right.
all that technical stuff?
I maybe begged the lady that's handing out hats, but
How about you got the pink hat tonight?
I do.
I mean, I'm like the no hat guy. You guys are
Yeah.
styling.
I'm really looking forward to Easter. That's why I'm wearing these colors. So
seriously.
I'm ready for this cold to go away. We were down in Orlando this last week. We weren't outside very much. We had a lot of meetings, but man, we were jealous just to be able to be down there and be around warm weather. So, who watched the Farmers Insurance Open this weekend at Torrey Pines? You guys see the outcome? That came down to a playoff actually this morning between Jason Day and Alex Noren, right? Was that the playoff? I think it was. So I think Jason Day came away, but that was a pretty fun tournament. Tiger's back, so that was fun to watch him make the cut. Looks like we got a couple more people coming in.
Adam's here.
Yep, Adam's here. We got about 2 minutes till we start and go live.
Yeah, well, Tiger made the cut. Was
Yeah.
anybody surprised Tiger made the cut? And he played pain-free?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing for him at this point.
That's it. Guys are starting to show up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, saying goodbye to.
See you, Tyler. Bye, everyone. Tyler's heading out. He's got to get home and do some more work.
Yep. He's got his own promotion to do later tonight. So.
So Sam, tell the group as we're waiting. We've got a few more minutes yet before we get rolling. Tell the group. PJ showed us last week.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Definitely.
Good time. What was your one or two cool things? I got one cool thing that I saw, but you tell. What do you think?
So the PGA show is basically where all the business for the game of golf comes together. So we were pretty fortunate to get down there and be part of that. Probably the coolest thing that I saw was like a virtual green, and the virtual green had the ability to kind of show it could change like the slope of the green. So when you were on this actual green, they could change the topography of the green and the break of the green, and you'd hit putts and it'd break different ways. So one time you'd set it up one way, and the next time you'd set it up the other, so you could practice just off of virtual software on a putting green. That was probably the coolest thing I saw. How about you?
At the Titleist booth, they had all of the golf balls that Justin Thomas had used
Oh,
when
yeah.
he won a tournament.
Yes.
So I don't know how many were there, but even when he was a young little snapper, hitting them around, beating them up on the junior tour, all the way to the PGA Tour, his dad had kept all the golf balls that he used when he won, and so he had.
That's a good idea
that was
for,
cool.
for maybe some of you to do. Start it now if you haven't started keeping all your golf balls. So
Yeah.
let's see.
Now, for you and I, Sam, we could have accomplished that in the sleeve.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't have many. I mean, I have like 7th place and 10th place. I don't have like top 3 finishes.
If I kept only the golf balls that I used to win a tournament, it'd be a sleeve.
Oh yeah, not many.
Not
Not many for me either.
It would not be dozens.
Couple hole-in-ones though. Did you keep your ball from hole-in-one?
Yeah, I do. Three
Yeah,
of them.
Same here.
Who out there's got a hole-in-one? Anybody got a hole-in-one? I got
Let's see.
three. You got a couple.
I have
don't you?
2.
Nice.
Yep, I have 2. So.
Yeah, that's good. So as we said earlier, be sure to say hi in the chat. We've got, well, probably 15 people here or so already. So be sure to say hi. We're going to give it just a minute or two as people are kind of finding us right now. Adam, yes, he's got in. Bennett's got one.
Okay.
I think Bennett, I think you just had yours last year.
That was
think
right
we just
because we
had
had
it
him in the
last
student
year.
spotlight.
Yes.
We had it, so we mentioned that in the newsletter. So.
Yeah.
Which reminds me that we will be having the newsletter. We'll probably get the first one out early March. So that'll be something to keep your eye out for. We're going to have a couple new sections in there, and it'll be good. So we're excited to pump out that information, keep you up to date for all the parents and all the students out there. So, so yeah, we'll get going here pretty quick. And welcome again to the second TKGA Live. It's going to be a good time. Again, last time was a little bit of a review, just kind of what we're going to implement this summer. So I think with that, should we get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got 7:31 right here, so we're going to go ahead and get rolling. Thanks for, like Sam said, for all of you who are here. If you're just arriving, be sure to throw a comment in there so we know you're here, because we like to ask some questions, give away some stuff at the end. But we got Sam and I flying solo tonight. Tyler had to take off. Our video guy, Nick, had other stuff going on, so we're hoping this is going to work.
Yes, we think we have it set up well. Yeah, this will be good. So
a couple quick reviews here on the schedule. Then we're going to let Sam kind of take the lead tonight because he spent a lot of time going through this stuff and has some great information. Last week was an off week because we were down at the PGA show, picked up some good stuff that we know is going to help not only us, but also all of you who are out there. So we've done a couple weeks of reviewing. We've been talking a lot about setup.
yes, yep. So just a little bit of review, like Todd said. So week 1 we did grip. Week 2 we did setup 1, And currently, you know, after this off week, we're into setup 2. So kind of the main points that we talked about, we're just starting this week. First one is just, you know, staying connected with our left arm. And so really working on our takeaway. We talked about kind of our hip bends, as well as our knee flex and kind of the proper place and the balance points that we want to see with our swing. The other thing we talked about was a little bit of just our position of our lower body and our upper body. Kind of feeling our left hip left a little bit, and kind of just where our body is aligned with our lower body, making sure that we're lined up pretty much over it, along with our head position being a little bit behind. So those were kind of our main checkpoints for this focus of this week. Again, really big things just before we even hit the golf ball, we got to make sure we're set up well. So
one of the other things, for those of you, we got some parents watching here this evening, so thank you for the parents, because there's some good information here, of course, for the students, but this is as much for the parents so we can learn to communicate together. And one of the things that we did last week while we were off, but the week before that I saw, is, and I've been doing it with all the kids I'm working with also on a regular basis, is helping you understand what it is that you're working on and actually making them watch their video.
Absolutely.
If you have not gotten your review of your swing video, you got to let me know that, or Sam or somebody know that, because you know there could have been one or two that slipped through the cracks, but making sure clarity in what it is that you're working on.
Yes, that's going to be one of our big focuses this entire year. We're super excited about it, and mainly it's going to be just important for our team as well. We want to make sure to get better, and we think that one way is communicating better just throughout the entire season. So.
Yeah. So good stuff out there. If you got any questions, as always, be sure to fire them out and let us know. So we want to get rolling because we have promised everybody we're keeping these two under half an hour. We're going to stick to that. And so we're going to let Sam kind of jump in here with what we got going. Sam?
Thank you, Todd. So let's review a little bit from last week. So we talked a little bit about, as an academy, we want to get better and shoot lower scores. That should be kind of our goal in general. So really what we're trying to do here at the academy is to focus a little bit more on our course management. So we came up with this system, and it was this acronym. Again, hopefully you remember it from last week.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to be kind of embedded in you by the end of this season, hopefully, but it's called TAPE. Okay, so TAPE, again, each single letter has a certain focus and a process that we want you to go through. And so, again, this overall TAPE is going to be just our course management, and we're able to kind of put it into a system that's going to help us really organize it, and it's also going to be our pre-shot routine process. So, again, that's kind of what we talked about last week. We went over every single letter, and we asked a few questions to make sure that you were listening. But tonight we're going to dive into it a little bit more. We're going to go over the first letter, which is T. And we're also going to dive into A little bit. So that's kind of our focus tonight. So we'll get right into it. And the first letter is T. Okay, so T is target application, Todd. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, once you put your golf bag down, let's say you hit your first shot off the first hole. You line up, you go up to your ball. What's the first thing that you're probably going to do?
When I get after hitting my drive? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of things. Gosh, and so many of these things I'm probably doing without even realizing it, just because you've done them so many times.
Exactly.
But I'm checking a lot of different things. I'm checking my lie. I'm checking my distance. I'm checking. I mean, all these variables that come into all the different types of shots that happen. And so. I mean, I'm doing a lot of different things.
Definitely, and that's kind of what we want you to kind of understand with this is why we want to create this system. And so with this T, you know, most of us have a rangefinder, okay? Most of us, it doesn't mean you have to have one, and we'll really talk about this in some later talks, just about, you know, what some strategies and plans we're going to do that you don't even need your rangefinder. But let's just say hypothetically right now that you have your rangefinder. Most of us put our golf bag down and we grab our rangefinder out of our little pouch and we shoot the target. So right now we're actually going to take, we're going to show you a slide here on the computer so you can kind of get a visual of what it looks like for the average golfer and what they see. So to kind of set this up, this is a drivable par 4, okay? So as you can see here, we have a golfer that is teeing off. He's hitting over water. Again, this is a drivable par 4 for this player. He has shot the pin. It looks like it's about 320 yards. So for him, this is the only thing he's dialing into, okay? So this is about an average golfer, which most people see, all right? Now this is going to be a better golfer, so we call a scratch golfer someone who's close to par. So again, you see all these different numbers out here. Okay, we see that first, that number 1, he shot the yardage, if that's something he's going to consider, but he's also considered all these different other obstacles and landing areas. So we've put him on the side here. Again, he shot these before he's even hit. Now again, this may seem like it would take a ton of time to do, and we don't expect you to go through like 10 different steps of shooting different targets, but we really think you have to come up with a really good plan because you're basically making a calculated decision where you want to hit this ball. Okay, so really it comes down to this last 8th one where he considers this the most calculated shot that he wants in a good landing spot. Okay, so again, this is a tee shot. All right, and now we're going to show you kind of what it looks like for the average golfer that is going to be hitting off of an approach shot. Okay, so again, shooting a target on a par 3, the only thing that most golfers look at is just the pin. They're so dialed in on just seeing what that target is, that's the only thing they consider. Okay, well again, we all know this golfer right down here, this is Ricky Fowler. So Ricky, and this is actually is it the 12th hole here at Augusta.
Yep.
So when a better golfer considers everything that he's shooting, he's not only shooting the pin, but he's shooting the front of the green, he's shooting the back of the green, he's shooting different obstacles, in this case the bunker, the water, and the last target he's probably considering is the center of the green. Okay, so this, we really just want to kind of set the stage for you to understand. Although it's a simple process, a lot of people overlook it, and a lot of times there's a little bit more steps to do when you do this. So thank you, Todd, for showing those, and we're going to just kind of continue with that. So understanding this target application, okay? So most golfers tend to kind of overlook shooting these different things. So really what we're going to do with tape here for our academy is we want you to focus on basically 5 different things, okay? And so the first thing being, we want you to shoot the pin. That's the natural thing to do, right, Todd?
I think that as we're going through that, I mean, if you have any questions on some of that stuff, because Sam was nice up to cover a lot of that information pretty quickly because I was holding it up there.
Yes.
Was that steady?
Yeah, no, you did good. You did well, yeah.
Hopefully you thought it was pretty steady. But great graphic right there of the difference between, you know, what an average golfer does, where they just immediately focus in on the pin and that's all they see, where like somebody like Ricky Fowler, a great example, tour professional, the best players in the world, he sees the flag, but he also sees the front of the green, the back of the green, you know, where's the pin relative to hazards, a lot of stuff going on that that you need to be aware of.
Absolutely.
And so that's where this concept of understanding all that is very important, and that's kind of what you're going to dive into right now.
Absolutely. Thanks for just clarifying that, Todd. I know we were kind of showing that. Hopefully it was fairly still there. So really what we want you to, again, we're going to keep it simple for you, all right? So when you shoot the target, you're going to shoot the pin number 1, okay? Make sure you're listening, okay? Shooting the pin first, okay? The next step that you're going to do, you're going to shoot the front of the green, okay? So a lot of times greens have there's a lot of depth between the front and the back. So there really could be a difference between 1 to 3 clubs when you're hitting, okay? So this is, again, stuff we're going to talk about later this summer when we can actually hit shots outside. Okay, so we have the second step, which is the front of the green. Third step is going to be the back of the green.
Okay, so we got
the pin.
The first one is the pin.
Okay.
Second one is
front of the green.
Front of the green.
Third is back of the green.
I have a suspicion you might want to remember that.
Yes, I think you do. So hopefully you got your ears open.
Yeah, pay attention to that.
Okay. The fourth one is obstacles. So again, sometimes you don't even need to consider this. This may just be a very simple green. There's no obstacles, but obstacles are going to be like bunkers, or maybe there's water on one side of the green. Okay, just knowing kind of where those are and being aware of them. We don't want to hone in on them, but those are things that you have to kind of consider sometimes when you're hitting. And the last thing, the most important that we're going to focus on a ton.
Let's see if they know it.
What do you think?
Does anybody got any
Does
ideas?
anybody know what we're going to be doing? Our last step.
So we've done, let's recap. We've done.
We got the pin.
We got the pin.
Okay. Front of the green.
Front of the green.
Back of the green.
Back of the green.
Obstacles.
Obstacles.
And what's the fifth one?
Anybody
Let's see
know?
what we got here.
Anybody knows out there? We've got quite a few people watching.
See here.
We're looking to see if you know. Type it in there. Wind would be good.
Not bad. Oh, we got Charlie or Chuck Mickelson said middle of the green.
Weather, there we go.
Okay,
Now we're getting
so
some good answers.
the last step is center or middle of the green. Okay, so it seems very simple, but we want you to focus in on that last one. Usually the most is going to be the most important step. A lot of people tend to kind of still be in their head thinking about the pin and that target. Okay, so we want that last number to be the number that you really dive into and know that you have to hit that number.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, those 5 are going to be the first step of target application, the T of tape. All right.
Yeah, so I just want to go through that again because I know everybody out there is probably a lot smarter than I am.
Yes. Why do you mean it like that?
All right, so we got
Pin.
Okay, so we want to get the pin so we know what that is. And I would think most people are doing that automatically.
Yes.
But that's probably the only one that they're doing.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what we assume.
Okay, so pin, and then we're going
Front of the green,
front of the green,
back of the green,
back of the green,
obstacles, center of the green being the last and final step.
Yeah.
And then that's when we start to kind of figure out, our plan. What are we going to do here? So this is going to perfectly lead into the next letter of tape, Todd.
Yeah, so
Okay?
if just real quick, because I want to get one more question out there before we move on to the next one. Does anybody have an idea as to why Sam is suggesting that you always get to the middle of the green, right?
Yes.
Does anybody have any ideas as to why, from a course management standpoint, would Sam suggests we always make sure we know what it is to the middle of the green? If you got any ideas, type them in there. I got some of my own ideas.
Yeah, I'd like to hear them. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Hopefully, you guys are firing them in
Bennett,
here. You're
it's the
typing it.
safest shot. That's pretty good. I know. How about some of our parents out there? You probably remember playing a lot of golf before we even had rangefinders. I know I did.
Yes,
And if you recall, that was the only thing that we could get was to the middle of the green
absolutely.
because we didn't have rangefinders. We had
So
to actually walk it off.
Yeah, that's something that most of you probably watching outside of the parents are not used to. I never had a rangefinder until I was in college, so
Yeah.
I had the same process actually.
So Bennett said it's the safest shot. Anybody else? I think that's pretty good. Anybody else got any other ideas? If you know, fire them out there. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
But the middle of the green is key.
Yes, absolutely. We really think it's the smartest strategy because again, if you aim for the middle, let's say the pin is on the right side of the green, and you're aiming for the center of the green, you're going to give yourself a little bit of room to miss. Okay, let's say that you do hit your line, you're perfect. What do we got
Look
here?
at that's Macy up there. She's firing out a pretty good answer right
Absolutely, you took the words right out of my mouth there.
there. Did you tell her that?
Yeah,
today,
I might have
class?
told you I can't. No, I didn't tell her. She's smart. But no, exactly right. Macy hit it right there. Basically, you're able to give yourself room on each side. So if you miss-hit it, which happens, that's golf, you're going to be able to still hit the green. And if you miss it, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you're going to go towards the pin, and hopefully you're going to make a putt. So.
And so before we move on to the next one, because I know we want to get into the next one, if I could just share a quick story. In the times that I get lucky enough to get to spend out on the tour with the girls, they have caddies.
Yes.
Which is nice. And so the caddy does all the hard work for them. But I can tell you this, if you're standing inside the ropes and you're there, what you'll notice is that what Sam just said is exactly what the caddy tells the player. They say, here's the yardage, Kim to fly the bunker, here's the yardage to the back, here's the yardage to the middle of the green. I mean, they say it every single time. So I can speak from literally watching it, that the best players in the world who have real good control over their golf ball, they're getting the same stuff.
Yes.
They want to know what it is to the middle of the green.
And that's important to know is, it doesn't mean that maybe some of you don't do it, but it's consistently doing it over and over and over again to where it's just part of your process every time you line up. And we really think it's going to help. And so we're gonna work on it this summer. Again, that first step can be a little bit overlooked, but if you don't get it right, then it sets up the rest of your process, the rest of your letters for tape to be a little bit off.
So T is target.
T is target.
T is target. I
Okay?
think we
Hopefully
all
remember
agree.
those 5. It's going to come back to you here. Okay.
All right, so what do we got next?
Yep, so we're diving into the next letter of tape, which is A.
A. All
Okay,
right. Does
so
anybody know what it is?
yeah, let's see if anybody knows what
Let's
A
ask
is.
them. Let's see if you know what A is. Let's get you engaged out there. Let's hear some fire. Let's see your.
Let's see. All right, Maya's
There
on
we go. Maya's in there.
Yeah,
Good job. Analyze. And very good.
So what are we analyzing?
Yeah. What are we analyzing?
What you're eating for dinner? That's what I'm starting to think about that.
We had to
here.
work through dinner. We're gonna
Yeah.
be analyzing on the drive home.
Yes.
What is it that I want to get?
Hopefully we're gonna eat something healthy.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We got the shot.
Okay. A little bit. That's probably the next step. This is
Okay.
again stuff. Give you a little hints. Things that are a little bit out of our control.
Okay.
Okay.
Factors that affect the
Yeah.
shot. Bennett. That's
That's
good.
a good answer.
I like that.
Okay. So this is really the part, Todd, that makes golf challenging. This is why golf is probably the hardest sport mentally, is all these factors. Every time we go through a shot, these factors change. Okay, maybe one's going here, another one's going here. Okay, and those are, we call them external factors. And external basically means outside of our control. So if they're internal, it's things that we can control. A lot of times we can control, you know, what we're thinking or kind of our, maybe parts of our pre-shot routine, okay? But external factors are gonna be like wind. So wind is definitely something that affects most of our golf shots. I can't, it affects my shots, I don't know about yours.
It affects mine for sure.
So we have wind, air temperature, we have elevation, so kind of uphill, downhill. We all have golf shots where we're usually hitting a little bit uphill or downhill or side hill.
Yeah, and real quick on a side note on that, I'm sure everybody here knows if you're hitting, well, if I'm hitting uphill, does that make the shot play longer or shorter?
Yes, great question.
What do you think? If you know the answer to that, type that in there. And I think maybe not tonight, but I've already seen a little bit. I got a little bit of a pre-look at some of the stuff you put together. Sam's going to even really dial in for you how much that can affect the shot, and it's
Yes.
probably more than they expect.
Definitely.
Isn't it? And
Yeah.
we don't have time to go into all that tonight, but you're going to
Yeah.
cover that at some point. All right, so
Yeah.
go ahead. What else we got?
So those are three. So again, so we got wind, we got air temperature, we have elevation. So again, uphill, downhill, and then we have lie. So lie can be again the same thing, an uphill lie. Okay, meaning we're hitting uphill. How does that affect our shot? Downhill. So a ball below our feet, a ball above our feet, all these things can really affect, you know, how the ball is, the outcome of the shot. And so there's so many variables, but we're just going to keep it simple to those four. So if you can remember those four tonight, again, those are going to be ones that we want you to remember.
Okay, so let's go through them again.
Okay?
We've got
Wind,
wind,
okay? Air temperature,
air temperature.
all right? Then we have, what else we got?
What else? Anybody else know out there? We got
See
wind
if,
and
see
air
if we can do
temperature.
a little mini quiz in here.
Yeah.
So I got
You
wind,
know,
air
let's do one.
temperature. Let's see here.
Maya, good.
We got
Lie,
lie.
very good. Chuck, yep.
Okay.
Lie's good. There's one other one.
Elevation.
Elevation, very good.
All right. Good job.
Very good.
Okay. So those are the four. Again, these are factors that usually we face every single time we play in a golf round.
Yeah, because there's nothing that would be more frustrating than, I mean, golf is hard enough as it is, as we all know. We work hours and hours on our swing, and you're here working with us, and we appreciate that. And then you make this perfect golf swing, and then you realize, oh gosh, I didn't, you know, adjust for the wind. And you
Yes.
hit this perfect golf shot, and the ball goes over the green or comes up short, and then we think we get done and think, oh, I'm swinging bad.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
were I really swinging bad? Maybe I just didn't adjust for the wind or whatever the situation might be. So that's why that analysis part there is so important.
Absolutely, Todd. And I think, again, this is just an area where you're going to get better and better. And if you use it in this system, this tape, this acronym over and over, it's just going to start to become part of your process. And again, the best players, the players that play this weekend, Tiger Woods, you know, Jason Day, they have to go through this, and every single time it's different, but the more you use it, the more you're going to get better at those problem-solving skills.
Yeah, and
And-
go ahead,
yes.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think once you get that down, I think you're just going to become a better player, and you're not going to rely so much on your golf swing or come to the conclusion that you have a bad golf swing.
Yeah, and I think that right now you might be sitting there thinking as a parent or even as a player, like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of information. But the truth of the matter is that those are all things that you just, once you've done it
Yes.
numerous times, you'll just, like when, a good example was when Sam asked me, well, Todd, before you hit a shot, what do you do? And I was kind of like, I had to think about it. Although I know I do all those things that you mentioned.
Yes.
I look at the lie, I look at the wind, I get it. What is the distance to the back of the green, to the front of the green, what is it to the pin? You know, I just innately do all those things. But for me to verbalize it, that seems like a lot. But once you do it, and then second, for my parents out there, because I really appreciate the parents taking the time to watch this, because as I've said now a couple times, this is as much for the parents, or excuse me, as much for the kids as it is for the parents, that when you're watching your son or daughter play golf, and you see like they make this good golf swing, but they didn't attribute the lie, or they didn't adjust for the wind, now you can let me know, or Sam or Tyler, and say, hey, Todd or Coach, they're really swinging well, but they're off on their A. And now we know exactly what we know exactly what you're verbalizing and talking about, versus sending a message saying, well, I watched my son or daughter play golf, they have this great swing, but their course management is terrible or bad. Well, that could mean 100 literally different things. And now as a coach, we want to help them, but we really don't know how. Is that?
No, that's exactly it. We think this is going to be able to help your parents with the feedback, the students, but we also think for us, we're going to be able to get to the problem sooner. Again, sometimes it may be the swing. Maybe we know that, you know, outside of maybe your strategy, which is this tape process, sometimes you just have bad luck with golf, right? It's called the rub of the green. Or you just had bad execution. You couldn't make the shot. And so, but it's important to understand what one of those three things it is. And we'll talk about that in some later talks. But again, like Todd said, I think that's going to help us and have the communication a little bit better. And that's our ultimate goal here.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've got plenty of time. We got 5 or 6 minutes left. Do we have more information to cover? Do we want to do some question and answer, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think we can go right into the questions here.
Okay.
So again, we want to keep this, you know, fairly brief. We think this is about the right amount of time, but you know, we want to test and see how good you guys listen during the talk here. So we're going to ask the first question here.
Or if anybody out there has a question on something we've talked about, don't be afraid to type it in there. Any of the students or the parents, if you've got a question on something that we've discussed here, we like hearing from you. Go ahead and point it, just type it into the chat there, and we'll do our best to answer that. And I think we're doing pretty good without having Tyler and Nick here. What do you think? Are we doing all right?
I mean, we can take criticism, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Did you really like Tyler's hat or not?
Yeah.
Now he's gone. We can tease him a
We
little
won't
bit.
tell him.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if he'll watch this.
All right. Hey, see, Chuck thinks we're doing a good job. All right. So, if we don't have any questions right now, we've probably got a couple of questions for them. Maybe we'll give away a couple of prizes. I know we have a couple of people on here already tonight who won last week.
Yes. Yep. I'm going to actually take this down so we don't have...
Oh, yeah, the cheat sheet.
Yes.
The cheat sheet was in the back. That was good. That was good. All right, so we got a lot of people still here, so thanks. Oh, hey, Tyler logged in.
All right.
Yeah,
He's watching. Oh,
here we
gosh.
thought we could get away with it.
Hopefully he doesn't watch earlier. He said some things about you, T-Prins, but we'll
All
keep it on the
Okay,
channel.
let's get this rock and roll. We got less than 4 or 5 minutes. You got a couple questions?
Yes. Okay.
All right,
So
get ready.
Here's the
Get
first.
your keyboard ready.
Yeah, get your fingers ready for this one. Hopefully you don't have carpal tunnel here. First question is revolved around T, okay? So, we talked about with tape the 5 steps that we're going to take, okay? And you have to write these in order, okay? What are the 5 steps that we want once you have the rangefinder in your hand? What do we want you to be shooting, okay? And they have to be in order. So, we want those all in one message, 1 through 5. And the first one to do it correctly is going to win a prize from the academy.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So let's see what we
All
got
right,
here.
some coming in. So they need to list all 5.
Yes.
They need to be in the correct order. Sam is watching.
Let's see. Shoot the pin.
We got some great.
Ooh, I think Adam might have been the first one here. Shoot the pin, front of the green, back of the green, any obstacles in center of the green. So looks like we have a lot of people chiming in here. Looks like we had a lot of people getting the correct answer, which is, you know, really, really good.
Yes.
But it looks like Adam was the first one. Perfect. So this is great. And again, you know, hopefully your fingers are going fast here. Maybe next time we'll get it down to making sure the grammar's right as well.
Adam, good job, buddy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Maybe for Adam, we could give him a new pair. Well, he's got the cool sunglasses.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scotty Cameron, oh, you already got that for Christmas, I think. So.
Out of the way, buddy. Good
Yeah.
job. Good. Do we have another one? Or
Yeah,
is
we
that-
have one
Oh,
more.
okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Adam, you're not eligible for this one. You can
Yep.
only win. I know you're super smart, but you can only win one prize per evening.
Just basking your glory
Yeah,
a little bit here,
yeah.
Adam.
And I want to come on, shout out to some of my parents out there.
Yes.
They got to get in there, and we got to get something for the
Yeah,
old
I know you
guys
didn't
here.
have a keyboarding class when you were in high school, but
Typing.
Yeah, little typing class.
Typing class. All right, here we go.
Last question, okay? So we talked about T, which is target application. So now we're going on to analyzing, okay? So what were the 4 different factors that we talked about that we want you to really focus on, or the ones that you go through every time you have a round? So there's 4 of them, no specific order. What were those 4 factors that you usually go through on a round of golf?
They're funneling in quick.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this.
All right, we got them flying in here. Looks like some great answers again. Matt Gusso's out there from Brandon.
Got that.
Perfect. All great answers.
Nice job, Matt.
Looks like Matt was the winner for that one, so Matt's gonna win a prize. Even though he's from Brandon, we'll still consider getting him something.
I
here.
think I've learned this so far.
What's
Matt
that?
and Adam have by far the fastest internet connection.
That's probably what it is. We're not, we can't control those other things, but yeah, that's probably what it is.
That is funny. That is
So.
good. And look, I even got a couple. Hey, Tom, Mr. Tom Sutcliffe, thank you, Jeff Hilgenberg, thank you for making a comment out there for us guys. Over 30.
Yeah.
We can still type, not as fast, but we can still
Maybe
type.
there's like a voice thing that you could do. I don't know. I don't know if you could do that on your PC at home.
That's
here, but-
awesome. That's awesome. Oh, all right, it's Jack.
Oh,
All right.
it's
Better
Jack,
yet, Jack, I knew you were a little smarter than your dad anyhow. Kind of like my kids. They're smarter than I am too.
Perfect.
All right, so let's do a recap
Yes.
of what we've learned tonight. Thank you. We're gonna be right on time tonight. Thank you for those who've logged in, and hopefully these are becoming helpful. And Sam's put a lot of time and energy into this. It's going to help us not only as coaches but as players and also as parents to communicate. So let's do a quick recap.
Yes. So we talked about the first 2 letters of tape tonight. So the first being target application. So we talked about once you put your bag down, again, that rangefinder, that first step, we've got to get it right. We've got to make sure that when we set up and we look at that green through the rangefinder, again, we're going to shoot the pin first. That's normal. It's good to shoot the pin. But we have to consider a couple of different areas. And we talked about shooting the front of the green. We talked about shooting the back of the green. Because again, depending on the depth of the greens, out here at Willow could be different than, say, Elmwood. Okay, so we want to make sure to shoot the back. We want to shoot any obstacles. Obstacles being if there's any water hazard or there's a bunker. And the last thing is the center of the green, the most important thing, and this is what you're usually going off of. There may be times where you're going at the pin, but most times you're going at the center of the green, and we'll talk about that stuff here later in the summer with just some different strategies. So that's what target application, those 5 different steps we want you to do with your rangefinder, okay? The second one was A, so A part of tape. And again, that's analyzing external factors. So we talked about there's many different factors, and Todd mentioned this is some stuff that you just naturally do.
Yeah, a lot of it.
A lot of it, again, for some of us it may seem overwhelming, but you're gonna realize when you're actually playing, you're going through this process pretty fast. It's not gonna be much more than 20 seconds. But really, as you get better and better at it, you're starting to kind of problem solve in your head. You're kind of thinking, well, this is doing this, the wind's into my face, I got a little uphill lie, I need to add about 8 yards, I need to hit a 4-iron instead of a 5-iron, okay? There's not an exact science, but the person that can calculate the best in their head is going to have the best success going into their plan, okay? So we have wind, we have air temperature, okay, we have elevation, and then our last one, let's see if who remembers the last one.
Last question of the night. No prize, just to throw it out there because you're still here and you're smart.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
What was the last one?
Lie. There we go.
Good job,
Macy.
Macy. Very good. Bennett, that away, buddy. Landon, nice work.
Good. Glad you're still engaged even after the
Yeah.
prizes. That's important to us.
All right.
So again, that's the recap. Next class, or I call it class. I've been teaching too much. The next live, we're going to be talking about the P, so the planning, the strategy that we want you to have here at the Academy. So
That's great. All right. Hey, thanks for sticking around. We were right on track, 2 minutes over, but we appreciate you logging in. We appreciate you watching. Hopefully this information is helping you as a player, it's helping you as a parent, and it's also helping us as coaches. So thanks for joining in, and we will see you next time. It's on your master calendar. We'll also be reminding you via email and also on the Twitter feed too as well.
absolutely.
So,
Yep.
all right. Have a good
Great
night.
night.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.